All right, so we're back around to Robbie for the Texans' second pick. With the first pick, they went Derek Stingley. This is the pick they just got in the Deshaun Watson trade. Robbie, who you taking? Because you can.
Okay, so off rip, I was thinking either Carl Lafidis or the one he just took, Devontae Wyatt, for the D line. But I got to looking at what the Texans have done this offseason other than the Deshaun Watson trade, and seems like they have re-signed two of their own. They re-signed Malik Collins on the defensive line, and then they signed Okoro Kwanu, or however you say his name, another defensive end. So that kind of makes me want to go to the offensive side because I think if they're going to roll with Davis Mills, they might try to help him out a little bit. And and looking at their receiver depth chart, Brandon Cooks is the only one that resembles an NFL receiver these days.
They
So
they traded like a decent amount of assets last year to get Nico Collins.
yeah, and
He's respectable.
he was number 2 in snaps on the Texans last year as far as receiver goes, which he may be turned into something, and who knows, he may or may not. But I think I'm gonna go receiver here, and according to PFF, they like Drake London the most. I disagree. I think that Garrett Wilson is a pick here. I think today,
really? You know
today, the name of the game in the NFL these days is separation. And yeah, people will say, well, Brandon Cooks is kind of smaller, so is Wilson. But if you just look at Wilson's tape, he separates at such an elite level, especially at the top of routes. And I think that's really just going to help Davis Mills even better. And Drake London, tall, kind of 50-50 guy. I'm not sure if that helps out Davis Mills as much as maybe a guy that can just get open, especially on the short to intermediate routes with great deep ball speed, great hands. I really think Garrett Wilson's a pick here. So.
You like him more than as a speed guy more than Jameson Williams?
I don't, but the injury in Jameson Williams, I think, maybe moves him down the stock just a little bit. Pure speed, Jameson Williams has got him route running Wilson. That's why I kind of think Wilson. Because we don't know a lot about Davis Mills just yet, so, but they got to do everything they can to try to make sure see if he's the guy or not, so.
No, I like the pick. Yeah, like I said, you could have taken anybody, and I would have agreed with it. But I think that
there's almost no wrong pick here.
But I mean, that's pickups. You went skill position on both sides. You got a Stingley, you got a Garrett Wilson. I think you can leave happy with that. If you're a Texans fan, as far as the whole.
Love that.
Really thought about Carl Lafidis though. Wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah,
go with but it seems like their off season they re-signed 2 of their own D linemen and brought somebody else in. So I thought maybe they were kind of addressing it, not that their D line is going to be elite or anything like that, but they just need everything. So
yeah.
So we come around to Baltimore for my pick here, and the Ravens. They've got a way of doing things, and it's wasting first round picks on receivers. I'm not going to do that. I just don't think that's a benefit here. I think that the guys they have are worth investing in. So you look around the league, or you look around the roster. Quarterback, obviously, they're set. Running game, I like Dobbins. Tight end, obviously, is set. Offensive line is still really good. Corner room, safety over the top. I like everything they did. They picked up Marcus Williams because the Ravens are good at this. And so really that leaves, I guess, the D-line. With Calais Campbell currently as a free agent, kind of aging out of the role.
Still haven't signed
him. I think you do need to invest there. They have Justin Madubuike, who I like. But that being said, I think the Ravens need to really invest in that D-line position. Again. So I'm going to give him Karlaftis here. I think Karlaftis is the pick for Baltimore.
That's a very Baltimore Ravens pick. I mean, they're not far off of what that's their
Harbaugh,
philosophy. I mean,
Harbaugh in that system, they'll get the most out of him. I don't doubt that in the slightest.
I don't either. He'll probably be a great player in their system for 10 years.
Yeah, so I think that's the right pick for
Not much
Baltimore.
to be said about this pick. That's a Baltimore pick through and through. I mean,
it's not exciting, but rarely are the Ravens picks exciting. But they win 10 games.
They win a lot of games, so it works.
Yep, not much to say about that.
Yeah. So defensive end for 2 isn't exactly the flashiest pick in league history. So
as you didn't go corner. It also seems just a very Ravens thing to do.
They could have, but they've still got Marcus Peters and they've still got
Marlon Humphrey.
So it just didn't seem as pressing of a need here. So we go back around to Matt for the first of the Eagles trio of draft picks coming up here through the teens.
Yeah.
Who are you bringing to Filthy Phil?
Well, they kind of get the pick of the litter here with back-to-back picks. They do need some edge help.
I mean, Brandon Graham is not eternal.
No.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
no,
eternal.
he's not eternal.
Reaching Graham.
Obviously you got Fletcher Cox in there, but it's
Who they cut and brought back on a reduced rate because he is starting to age finally.
he is starting to age. Yeah, I think this is pretty clear cut. This is their biggest need. And I'm kind of surprised he's still here, but I'm gonna take him. It's gonna be Jermaine Johnson.
I mean, that's a terrifying thought. Him going to that stable in Philly.
Man, I feel so bad for Michigan's David Ojabo because originally I had him go in there in mine.
Oh yeah, he could
and
have.
that injury, man, you gotta
That's
feel
That
so
Achilles
bad.
tear. I mean,
brutal,
that's
man.
You gotta,
yeah.
that's
I
just
mean,
the worst. You know, just on-field drills, no pads. It's just,
it's
Sucks,
just
man.
a shame of a freak accident. You just absolutely hate it for the poor kid.
He probably
definitely
should
lost
be.
himself.
If that didn't
know.
happen, I would have picked him here. But
Yeah. But as it stands, Jermaine Johnson, we talked about him a little bit in the first episode of the Great Pretenders. His comparisons kind of to Brian Burns.
Really like Jermaine Johnson's
All
game.
a big
A
fan
lot
of his
upside.
work. I would hate to see him in Philly. I mean, you know, with Fletcher Cox still eating up the run game, he's just free to go off as a pass rusher. I think he's going to be would be a great addition to Philadelphia's stable there on defense.
certified freak.
I
For
agree.
sure. So we stay with Philly, but we go to John now. He gets to make pick number 16 now for the Eagles.
Their O-line's still still decent.
It got
They
better
have-
too. Mailata arrived.
They have a stable of receivers. Not all of them great, but
They have.
you got plenty of
Do they
assets
have a
there.
stable of receivers?
Yeah, they got Devonta Smith.
I mean, Devonta Smith was good,
some
but
guys.
Rieger and Whiteside have proven they aren't even replacement level. They aren't
No,
NFL quality players.
They're awful.
There's too many assets that you can't go back there.
You can't keep taking
I'm not sure you can
receivers.
take a receiver first round 2 years in a row.
3 years in a row, wouldn't it
I
be?
think you can
3 years
get.
in a row, exactly, yeah.
You can
With
address
Rieger.
it later.
A lot of their team weaknesses ever since their Super Bowl run have been an aging and decrepit defense. So I think they're looking to replenish that, and I'm going to go with linebacker N'Kobe Dean.
Great
Get them
athlete.
a
Love
real
N'Kobe
rangy type in the middle.
Terrifying combination. These two picks back to back.
Love N'Kobe Dean.
Has a lot of speed to their front seven.
A lot of speed, yes.
Has a lot of speed. As far as the Eagles linebackers, it's trash. I don't have any other way to phrase it. I think Eric Wilson is the only starter I could name in last season. He's a free agent now. It needed to be addressed. Alex Singleton went to the Broncos. I mean, they don't have anybody at linebacker.
Nope.
N'Kobe Dean comes in and immediately turns a weakness into a strength, at least at his spot. I think that's a fantastic pickup, which I hate because if this is what Philly does, they're going to be a frightening team to deal with.
Yeah. By the way, that's Indy's pick. So shout
out to Carson Wentz.
Shout out to Carson Wentz.
So we go back around to Robbie. Back on the clock here, number 17 for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I cannot believe
there's
you guys
one
allowed
you're
this
doing
to
here,
happen.
Robbie. You have the honor of doing
you
it.
guys,
I kind of secretly wanted this. We
me
wanted
and Matt
this all
have had
along.
this discussion for at least 3 months. I said, okay,
Everyone,
the Chargers.
Me and you and Matt, you and all of us, we all know what this pick
you guys
is.
can attest.
Not being around the bush, it's Jordan Davis.
You guys, you guys
You
can
have the
attest
honor.
that this is honestly like my favorite fit pick from before this even draft process got started, before even the Super Bowl playoffs.
Match made in
I said,
heaven,
okay,
dude.
so the Chargers were one of my favorite teams to watch last year. But
Oh,
it's
hell yeah.
painfully obvious that
I think they're everybody's second or third team because of Justin Herbert right now.
Sure. But it was so clear that their run defense was horrible, and they were throwing out 285-pound Jerry Tillery as their nose tackle, and it was just atrocious. They were getting ran up and down the field. Caleb already said, if Jordan Davis is here, which I don't think he will be at pick 17, I'm not sure how they don't run this up to the podium with the speed.
They may have Herbert do it himself.
Oh
Yeah.
man, this guy's a freak, and he fills their biggest need. And with the offseason they've had and that division, I just can't wait. Jordan Davis, that man is one of the biggest freak athletes we've ever seen, pound for pound.
Yeah, we say certified freak a lot, but
I've seen the person.
I mean, this guy is Clark Kent, he is Kal-El, he is the Homelander. I mean, this guy.
If this pick actually happens, A++ offseason for the Chargers doesn't get any better.
So you
Yeah.
look at this move, and you look at him, and so that would give the D line. You've got Bosa, you've got Jordan Davis, and they picked up Joseph Day from the Rams at defensive tackle as well.
Yep.
You know, you've got Kenneth Murray patrolling at linebacker, and then over the top you've got
Khalil Mack as well. So
Khalil Mack. Oh my gosh.
Good lord. Dude.
So that D line, you got Khalil Mack, Bosa,
Is this like the best
Joseph-
D line in the NFL
Joseph
right now?
Day and
With
Davis.
that,
You've got
with that
Kenneth
pick?
Murray at linebacker. At corners, you've got J.C. Jackson, and you've got Asante Jr., and then at safety, you've got Derwin. This is a top 10 defense overall.
Even without Jordan Davis, I think it is.
Yeah.
Like,
So, I mean, the
their
Chargers...
run defense was bottom
This
tier
is
last
Staley's
year. It was
second year of
painful.
this defensive grouping. Let's not
Yep.
forget how good that Rams defense was with Brandon Staley before he left.
Oh yeah.
Of course. No, I
Oh,
was.
yeah.
I think Brandon Staley is a fantastic head
This
coach.
is my favorite fit pick from months ago. I mean, we've talked about this. If this
the
happens,
The
Gotta
Chargers
hope
are-
this happens, dude.
The
God, I hope
Chargers
it
are ready to go. The Chargers are ready to compete for a championship this year.
Oh, yeah.
The shame of it is so is the rest of the entire AFC. That's really.
and
the
I was
only
really
downside.
afraid if they let Mike Williams go, they would have to go receiver here, and I'm glad they didn't, so they can maybe address something like a
They
Jordan
paid him more
Davis.
than I would have liked to, but
They
if it leads
overpaid
to
him,
this,
but
if it leads
you
to
know.
this pick, it is
It was worth
a
it,
justified
yes.
move.
They did overpay him a little bit, but they're going right for receivers these days. It's just
Chargers signed a
Through
lot of
the roof,
interior
so.
defensive linemen for agency, but they
Awesome.
still need a guy that can
They
come
have
in and
addressed
just
it a lot,
run on that
and
down.
Yeah,
They
no,
may
Jordan
not
Davis
go
comes
here, but
in, he
I
takes their
think they
weakness,
should.
and he says it's not a weakness, it's a strength. And
their run defense was bottom 5 last year. It
If
was
you can
very
turn
bad.
if you can turn your biggest weakness into your biggest strength, that's all you can ask for. So I'm with the Saints here, and unfortunately
You guys let this happen. This is
I
amazing.
cannot draft a restructure to a contract, so I'll have to take a player here for New Orleans.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
Saints
The Saints should
cannot-
consider trading picks for contracts.
the Saints cannot continue, in my opinion, with Sean Payton gone especially, to say that the occasional appearances of Michael Thomas are enough to function in offense. Drew Brees is gone as well. They're going to send Jameis
They're still paying.
or maybe even Andy Dalton out there. And if they're going to win games, it's going to be because they have a better receiver group than they did last year. I'm going to give the Saints Drake London.
I think it's a smart pick.
Totally makes sense.
Smart
Although
pick,
it would,
but
you'd think they go with Olave because of the Ohio State thing, but Drake London.
that pick's a bit more doubt in my opinion because they lost of Armstead. You want to give him like a tackle?
You know, I thought about it, but they didn't seem concerned. They've got Ramchick. I assume they're going to kick him over to the other side. On the O-line, they've still got Andrus Pete, Eric McCoy, and I always forget the last of their starters there that they took.
Ooh,
Cesar Ruiz, yes.
Ruiz.
Yeah, so they've got 4 fantastic linemen on the team already. I was close on giving them another one. I like the idea of it certainly, but I don't think you can't keep sending nobodies out there at receiver when Drew Brees isn't there to cover the deficiencies. So I thought Drake London made the most sense.
Alvin Kamara started getting injured last year. That one offensive lineman's he's gonna look pretty good next to 4 other solid dudes. And Mike Thomas has also been getting hurt. I think one of the other receivers is like a special teams ace. Traquan Smith. Is it?
Deontay Harris.
Deontay Harris. Okay.
Yeah.
They need a solid wide receiver too, or maybe even a one if Michael Thomas doesn't want to play there or gets injured again.
Yeah, no, there were a number of directions I could have gone tackle, and I wouldn't have hated it. I mean, the Saints have a couple of issues that need to be addressed, but I thought that it's time to stop just patching this bad receiver thing and give them an actual asset at it. Finally.
Jared Cooks hasn't been there for a while. They need a second option. I like the pick.
For sure.
Agreed.
Cool. So Matt, we come back around to you, and you get to once again pick
yet
for
again,
the Philadelphia Eagles. So
man, they got a lot of picks. All right. So with the other 2 picks, we have addressed edge and linebacker. I cannot believe he is still here. We're going to continue to shore up the defense. We're going to take Trent McDuffie.
I was gonna, if you didn't take McDuffie
Totally
here,
agree.
this would have been my first full disagreement. Darius Slay's solid, but he's aging, and beyond that, their corner room isn't anything to write home about. This is a home run pick. This is Philadelphia's 3rd home run pick in a row.
This
It
would
will
be
be in
devastating.
shambles if this happens.
This would be
Yeah.
devastating for you.
Yeah, it put them on the path to being fantastic. Howie Roseman took a lot of heat for the Eagles the past couple of years, but it's clear that he's always had some level of a good plan. Even though he had to send Doug Peterson to the Wolves. Yeah, I mean for Philly, just kind of thoughts on them. Yeah, that puts them right on the path.
Yep,
So
that defense is now scary.
yeah, it really is. So go back around to John again, and the pick comes up to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Pittsburgh. Oh, and by the way, the Vikings brought back Patrick Peterson, so
I did see that. Yes, that broke earlier today at the time of recording.
they will not be needing a corner. Right pick by us. Okay, Steelers. They've been rumored to get Tyrann Mathieu, but they haven't. I don't agree with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. I don't think he's a good field general for that team, but they sure have loaded the team around him.
Yeah.
They lost Juju. Pittsburgh is required to take a receiver every draft and have him just be secretly good.
So they've still got
I was a staple
Deontay
of Pittsburgh.
and Claypool, but Juju and Williams are gone. So
While it is a mandatory thing for Pittsburgh to have a solid receiving core at all times, I think they still have some more pressing needs. They lost one of their veteran corners, I believe, correct?
Joe Hayden is gone, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
And without him, I'm not sure you could pick the Steelers corners out of a lineup. It certainly is a position where I don't feel like there's a lot of strength. So
How's their tackle? They had like Villanueva, right?
no, he's with the Ravens
the
now.
Ravens?
He went to the Ravens
Yeah.
last year. Yeah.
It's not good.
They never replaced that. Certainly,
Yeah,
they're
the
looking
tackle
to
situation
do
is
something.
bad.
Certainly, if they're willing to do something else and do RPOs this time around on offense.
As far as their offensive line, the tackles they rostered last year were Chukwuma Okorafor, Dan Moore, Joe Haig, and Zach Banner.
Oh my
Yeesh.
god.
A good O line that does not make.
No. It not at all.
Let's see. Brought back signed Levi Wallace. Brought back Kel Witherspoon. Signed center Mason Cole. Guard James Daniels. Okay. Miles Jack.
James Daniels is a big
James
pick.
Daniels.
The fact that the Bears let him go is criminal.
A lot of quality, like mid to high level free agents they signed.
Yeah, they handled themselves well, I feel like. It's the Steelers. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed because I don't like the Steelers, but I'm not surprised.
But they still need a tackle, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Along their
tackle here
They need
is
it bad.
I would say tackle here is a pressing need.
Now, decide which tackle. They've got Najee. The offensive coordinator they have, apparently, I saw a bit during a broadcast about how he was the godfather of like the Shanahan, Kubiak, McVay offense. Where like I don't know if he like taught Mike Shanahan the offense or not, but apparently he runs a similar scheme. I don't think Mitch Trubisky's much of a passing quarterback.
He's not much of a quarterback.
No. Do you guys think Pittsburgh would rather take a tackle that would benefit a better quarterback, or a tackle that would try to like help the chances of winning now in the run game?
It's interesting. The Steelers organization is one that I feel like leans heavily toward every year being a year where they can be competitive. So I feel like
Win now league.
Yeah, I feel like that's how the Steelers view things.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to go with Trevor Penning, just an absolute run beast.
Love it.
Yeah, no, this is like when they took DeCastro, man. That's gonna set them up there for a decade.
That dude is nasty.
Yeah, Penning is a fantastic addition. Just the Steelers' offensive line is a big need that adds to it. Trubisky will have enough rope to hang himself with. He'll be in the Tomlin system that's been so effective. This gives him a better lineman. He'll have a good run game. If there's anything in Mitch Trubisky, we'll see it for the Steelers this season. So go back around to Robbie now, and you get to make a pick for Bill Belichick's New England Patriots.
Now, if I had to take a guess on who would trade out of their pick, it would be this one. Would be my number one. I really think that he does.
I could see it.
Because I really think they need a corner to replace J.C. Jackson, but I don't know if he does it here. I think he might.
I think the Patriots need a lot of positions. I'm not sure what they did
They
this
need a lot.
offseason.
I really think they need to address the
They traded
receiving
away
core.
Wino for
Well, because
Mac Wilson.
they traded away
Plus
Shaq
J.C.
Mason
Jackson.
for no reason.
Shaq Mason is
so-
gone for no
Still
They
need a
just
reason.
traded away
quality
Shaq Mason
receiver.
for no reason. But if looking at their free agency signings, they did sign Terrence Mitchell and Malcolm Butler, I guess, to try to help out their corner room. So that's something. I really think their receiving room needs help. I really think their D line needs a little help too. But I think right here I'm gonna have to go receiver. The last pick I had, I gave the other Ohio State receiver, Garrett Wilson. I think they go Olave here, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Williams would have been the
That's a
pick
Belichick
to.
pick.
I really think that Williams would have been the pick to reunite with Mac Jones. I mean, but the injury, I don't know how long he's going to be out
It's
for. I don't know.
concerning. It's got to be
I
a
don't know
concern.
how. I don't know how
Apparently
low
he
that
was-
brings his draft stock down. I mean, I
you
think
know,
he's still really good.
I
But
think from what I heard, he's on track to be healthy.
well, I hope he is. And that connection with Mac Jones will be good. But that's also in the Alabama offense where they were dialing up deep. That's not the Patriots offense. Chris Olave is
Yeah.
a much better intermediate route runner, a lot more smooth to his game than Jameson Williams. So
We
if
were
I
all
had to give
here. We were all here watching in the opening game of the
Yep.
season, Minnesota, Ohio State. We watched Chris Olave win that game by himself in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's the smoothest route runner in the draft class, in my
Oh, yeah.
opinion. He is very smooth, very good hands, great deep, but better intermediate than Jameson Williams, I would say. So it's even a better fit, injury aside. So I think if they're going to go receiver, which I think they should, I would go Olave or Burks. But I think Olave is a little
You
bit
think he
better fit for
forgoes the
that.
Saban connection?
Do it.
You think he
I
forgoes the
do.
Saban
I think the
advice?
fit is. I mean, and the Mac Jones and Williams will obviously have chemistry, but I really think the fit is better with Olave in that Patriots offense.
Olave is one of
personally.
those guys that can just do everything.
Well, Williams, I mean, you're really wasting his talent if you're not a vertical offense.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and they're not. I mean, they never have been. So, and we'll see what their offense is. A little different now that McDaniels is gone, but I assume it'll be a lot similar to what they have been. So.
I don't think Belichick is
That's-
planning on pivoting the ship at this point offensively. After
I
20
don't
years.
either. I don't think there's a big scheme overhaul
There
scheme.
wasn't when he left the
schematic-wise
first
on
time.
offense.
I mean, because he did leave for Denver the first time.
He did, yeah. So yeah, I think Olave if they go receiver right there. If
Yeah,
they go corner, I could understand that as well to replace
I
J.C. Jackson.
think it had to be receiver here or corner, like you said, and I think Olave is a fine pickup.
I think Ojabo would have been the perfect pick here because they need help so much, but that injury just I've said it twice now, but I feel
Scares
so
me
bad
off.
for him.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
So that puts me on the clock with the Packers here, and this might be the easiest pick in the draft so far.
Yeah, run it up to the podium.
With Devontae's gone, MVS went to the Chiefs. You have to throw it to somebody, and that somebody's going to be Jameson Williams.
I agree. I think this is a perfect fit.
Open up the offense, give Aaron his own rocket to just launch the ball up to. It's probably a downgrade in year one overall, but having Jameson Williams there for many years for the Packers is going to be a big up for them and a team that desperately needs receiving help. Them avoiding the position in the draft has been kind of a meme, but I think at this point it would be unreasonable to pass on receiver again in the first round. I think this is the pick for sure.
Yeah, that knee works out.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah. You have to hope. I mean, you can't.
I think he'll be. You tend to think he'll be fine.
You can't be scared off of injury for the entire first round. I wouldn't think on Williams.
No, and I don't think ACL is as dangerous as it used to be for players.
Achilles, I feel like probably is, which is why again Ojabo is just such a shame here.
What a shame. Definitely top 15 type talent, but.
So Matt, it comes back around to you for the Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals. This is a team. This is another team I don't know what direction to go in.
So
I can't. You can't go receiver because all the best options are off the board, and they don't. You got to see what you have with Rondell Moore.
You've still got obviously DeAndre. Rondell Moore was solid in snaps last season. Did AJ Green come back?
I don't know. I don't think so, but don't quote me on that.
He's free agent, yeah. But either way, I don't think that you go receiver here.
Hard to find the direction on that team given the way in which they imploded at the end.
Exactly.
They're kind of directionless. As far as the roster, Chandler Jones is gone, so the pass rush is worse.
Yeah, but
the
Steve
corner room
has heavily invested in defense past years, right? With Isaiah Simmons and then Zayvon Collins.
Simmons and Zayvon Collins, yes, were their last two first rounders. The defense. I don't think the defensive line is very good. I mean, J.J.
Yeah,
Watt is solid, but around him, it's not.
but neither is the O line.
They lost
No.
Chandler, so it's back. JJ before he went to Arizona was not getting consistent production.
He wasn't J.J. Watt anymore.
No, they were just getting double teamed. It was easy to stop him. He was just a run stopper at that point. Glorified run stopper.
On the offensive line, I think they still have DJ Humphries playing left tackle. They seem satisfied with that. They in the big contract. But beyond that, if they, they haven't really invested in the offensive line. It's been a problem for a few years now. We haven't really seen them use a high value pick on it.
Yeah. Who
I'm
are their
not
tackles right now?
Team in general, like its trench play is not that great.
Yeah, which is the opposite. Yeah, it's just not how you want to build a team.
Defensive line, their O line, just not in a great state.
So, what is the state of their tackles right now?
Like I said, DJ Humphries is starting on the one side. The other tackles on roster are Kelvin Beachum, Josh Jones, and Joshua Miles.
Goodness
Passable.
gracious! I mean, it's not great, but
Josh Jones is fairly young, right? Out of Houston, I think.
Yeah.
Josh Jones was in his second season. This will be his third year coming up.
Okay.
I like him coming out. Maybe they'll give him a chance. Maybe not.
I could see a lot of options here.
I think, and this I was surprised Robbie didn't do this considering the with the Patriots, but I'm gonna go with Zion Johnson here.
Yeah, I think that a high level
I think
investment.
That's a good fit. Yeah,
in
they
guard
need
play.
interior offensive line.
You need to appease Kyler after he released his manifesto.
At a certain point, they should invest in guard play. Their
guard play is very bad.
And I think this is a good move here to just kind of stabilize it. So I like that pick a lot for Arizona.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent fit.
Yeah. Don't want Kyler to rage too hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Save that for Warzone.
Yeah, Kyler will. As this pick comes in, Kyler will have his headphones in, be doing something other than paying attention. With that being said, we come around the bend once again to the Dallas Cowboys, and Robbie, you are on the clock.
I am?
No, I am.
It's me, right?
I'm an idiot. I got one out of sequence. I'm so sorry, John. You are the Cowboys. Good grief.
What did you think I was going to do for the Cowboys?
I was just doing my Bills crap. I was like, did I just do this wrong?
I legitimately, my brain double jumped. Good grief.
You gave me a mini heart attack. I was like, I just did all this research.
No, I didn't think you were going to give the Cowboys Sam Howell. All right. It's late. I'm sorry.
It is late. You're right.
Anyway, John, you were the one at the helm for the Dallas Cowboys. What is
your?
Had
a lot of departures.
They did. They did. Yeah. Randy Gregory is gone.
On PFF here, it doesn't even specify like which position in the trench. It just says offensive line, like the entire line or the entire D line. Like,
yeah, well.
I mean, so as far as
I didn't think they're particularly weak, but what do you think is the weakest position on the Cowboys, Caleb?
Well, if you look at the offensive line, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are still there, so it's still going to be a top 15 O line based on those two. Tyler Biadasz was very solid at center, but we lost starter Connor Williams and Lael Collins, obviously due to the release.
No, the Lael Collins is going to hurt.
Connor Williams is addition by subtraction. He was not a fit in Dallas anymore, but Collins is a loss. The team seems to think that Terrence Steele will be an acceptable fill-in for Lael at right tackle. I don't love that idea, but I can at least understand it because he was okay at right tackle with Zach Martin helping with the coverage. As far as the D-line goes, I wouldn't say it's a major need. DeMarcus Lawrence restructured, signed an extension. Obviously, Micah Parsons is a pass rusher. They like Dorrance Armstrong. Defensive tackles.
Parsons, how's the linebacking course? I know Parsons floats between edge rusher and outside linebacker. But
outside of Mike,
you guys lost Jalen Smith and Vander Esch is back on.
Yes, Leighton is back.
Really over at minimum.
Mike is all over the place. Beyond that, they have Jabril Cox, who they selected last season, expected to get some snaps.
You guys still have Keanu Neal, or did you guys let him go?
No, he left. Jerry Jones himself said anticipate that if if there's not like a generational player on the board like a Lamb or a Parsons that will go offensive line this season in the draft. So, make of that.
And you foresee like interior offensive line.
That would make the most sense to me, but looking at where we are in the draft, I don't see who you'd go with unless you went with Kenyon Green,
Yeah,
which I
Zion Johnson just went. I don't want to be on like the back end of a run here. I'll be getting bad value out of that.
I wouldn't hate Kenyon Green here.
no. Kenyon Green would make sense. I think certainly. I think you could justify Ryman honestly at this point.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
I was
Ryman would be
thinking.
Ryman would be able to play right tackle.
You have no guarantees in Terrence Steele, and there's no guarantee you can even kick Terrence Steele inside. However, Ryman is one of the best players remaining and one of the best offensive linemen, and you just find a way to make it work. When you find a blue chip player fall to you, you just find a way to make it work. So I'm gonna give the Cowboys Bernhard Raymond.
Yeah, O-line, it needs to be re-strengthened. If nothing else, Tyron Smith is 30. At some point in the next decade, he's probably going to retire. So I could fully.
Smith's getting banged up. Zach Martin's getting up there. Yes, he drafted the next Cowboys O-line.
It's good to reinvest. I like that pick a lot. So after correcting the sequence break there and the screw up, Robbie, you are on the clock for the Bills. Didn't mean to break up your Bills prep there.
No, you're
This
totally
is exciting.
fine. This is exciting. Once again, I don't know how this has worked out. This is another fit that
We
I love. But
finally-
I was just doing a little research. I really thought the interior O line was the way to go, and Kenyon Green was a big thought here. But they did retain their entire O line, and they did sign Ryan Bates from the Bears to go ahead and play left guard.
Don't they have like Feliciano at guard or something?
He actually he was not extended, so they do not have Feliciano anymore. But they did have Bates to take his spot, so that means they got Bates, Mitch Morse, Cody Ford on the inside, and then their tackles are the same. But with Emmanuel Sanders being an unrestricted free agent, Cole Beasley being gone, they did re-sign Isaiah McKenzie, and they still do have Stephon Diggs. So I think that
don't forget 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis. Last time we saw him, he looked like Jerry Rice.
Do love him, but looking around, PFF says they need interior D-line, which maybe they do, but I'm not seeing someone here that you love to take right here. So I'm gonna.
The past few years has reached for plenty of defensive linemen.
Travis Jones, but I don't think the time is right.
I don't think he's worth the pick here. So we were talking about this months ago. If this happened, this would be a fit of mine. But obviously, I'm an Arkansas fan, so Treylon Burks, I think he's better than PFF's, ranked 31. But I think that's the pick here, and I think it makes that offense legit. Maybe the scariest offense in all of the NFL. But I think
at that point, you have to say the Buffalo Bills are the favorites to go to the Super Bowl.
He's built like a house. He runs a low 4.5, which who cares? But he just watch some of his tape. It is truly some of the most amazing tape you'll see. Biggest hands you've ever seen. Great at the catch point. Great intermediate route runner.
They had to custom make him gloves. I mean, he's got.
Yeah, I mean, he has to wear 6XL gloves just because his hands are so large. Great. I mean,
he mentioned as well. Buffalo got Saffold this offseason as well.
They did get Saffold as well. That's what I was about to get to. I was looking through their stuff here. So that. Plus, there's not an interior lineman that I love here. I mean, you can go Kenyon Green, but I think this Burks pick is just a home run of a pick, which I'm a homer because I'm an Arkansas fan. But the homer aside, Burks is one of the best athletes in this draft, and I think he could go higher than this, honestly. But if he's here, I don't see how the Bills don't take him right here.
Yeah, happy Josh Allen noises.
Look at that offense. I mean, Josh Allen's salivating. I mean, my God.
Yeah, and the Buffalo, they got Von Miller. A lot of the edge rushers they took the past years have been relegated to run stopping duties.
Yep.
So I think this is the most Buffalo's been complete.
This is A+
like you said,
for sure. Yeah.
Like you said, all they just need is another reliable receiver cross Diggs, and I think Treylon Brooks brings that with his ability to
just
be a possession receiver and stretch the field vertically.
Watch his tape against Alabama and tell me he's not, just amazing. He outran their entire defense.
He just brings some stops to the receiving room.
I mean, 6'3", 2. I mean, he literally plays at 235, and he was the heaviest receiver of the combine. But that
Gabriel Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs. I mean,
which they haven't re-signed Emmanuel Sanders yet.
They're all moderately sized receivers. He's a big guy.
They won't need to.
Yeah, but just imagine Diggs, Burks, Dawson Knox, Isaiah McKenzie, Gabriel Davis. I mean,
it's an embarrassment of riches, man.
The Bills' offense looks so much better when a secondary deep threat was next to Stephon Diggs.
Yep. So I think that Burks needs to work on his footwork a little bit, route running, a little crisper. But just as far as pure talent, raw skills, there's nobody better.
Yeah.
So
no arguments here whatsoever.
Love this pick.
So I was looking around my direction for Tennessee here.
Oh, do I have to pick for Tennessee?
You don't. I do.
Oh, you do. Oh, okay, good. You can have them.
Good. Glad that the sequence break is not entirely on me here. So there's a couple. I'm of two minds for this pick here for Tennessee. Because I was leaning. I'll tell you right now, guys. I was leaning because Saffold is gone, and the way they love to run their offense with Derrick Henry, just giving them Kenyon Green here.
Probably the move, yeah.
However, I do want to posit. This is probably going to be the most controversial pick of the whole draft. You know, I may be completely off base here for considering this. So
Okay.
if you think this is unjustifiable, talk me off the ledge. I'm going to throw this one to you. Tennessee has proven that in the first round they're willing to take big risks on flyer guys that other teams haven't because they're willing to
I was going
go
to say
for it.
that.
Look, Jeffrey Simmons. After the legal concerns, Tennessee snapped him up. Last year, Caleb Farley. The injury concerns terrified everybody off of him. That's why we saw Horn and Cert winning 9 and 10 or 8 and 9, and then Farley in the 20s.
Are you going to say Ojabo?
I'm going to say David Ojabo for the Tennessee Titans.
As far as fit, it doesn't get any better. It's just the injury concern is the only
need
reason he's not top 15. So
who are their edge rushers? I know they extended Landry, well-deserved contract.
They extended Landry, and then last offseason they gave that massive contract to Bud Dupree.
Bud Dupree, yeah, that's not a world
not very
beater.
spicy.
He rewarded them stunningly with only 3 sacks because he's nothing special.
Yeah, the Titans defense, I mean, they got Jeffrey Simmons. Like, the interior is nice, but that defense just doesn't hit right, and I think it's because they don't get adequate pressure.
So we're not walking me off the edge with this.
No, I think it's a totally tight
like it.
It's risky,
I actually
but
like it. He's still
it's
going to go
late
first round.
It's risky, which means why it's perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to give the Tennessee Titans David Ojabo. I think this is a perfect. It's that Tennessee risk that they're willing to make to bring these guys in.
Speaking of risk, Kenyon Green would have been risky because that's kind of a reach.
It's a reach, but I thought that was one of the Titans' bigger needs that I thought fair to address. So, and so Matt, instead of Tennessee, you will be picking.
I'm picking for Robbie's team.
For Robbie's team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hey.
All right. Well, PFF seems to have this all backwards because they seem to think they need receiver and guard and center, which I don't agree with.
So
I think they got that
as
covered.
far as receiver, are we just gonna pretend that they didn't add a bunch of them and keep the good ones?
Yeah.
I don't understand the receiver or the center.
A lot of cash.
The guard,
I don't
maybe.
understand.
Yeah.
Guard, they do need probably one guard. Defensive interior, I also don't understand. Even if Sue's gone, you still got Vea, you re-signed Golson, and you also brought back Raheem Nunez Roches. So I'm not understanding it's needs there, but whatever.
Yeah. The Buccaneers they're done.
Yeah.
So I think you just take the best player available.
I would argue
for depth
that
purposes.
One of the corners wouldn't be a horrible pick here.
Yeah, I would
actually
think
agree.
Is really the way to go here.
When you guys were really hurting when your starting corners all went down.
By week 3, all 3 of them our starting corners are injured.
So week 1,
it was looking pretty
week
ugly.
When I think it was Mike Edwards covered down on CeeDee Lamb on that deep fade and just shattered.
No, it was Murphy Bunting dislocated his elbow.
That's what I'm saying, he got hit but didn't Edwards hit him when they were going for CeeDee?
Well, he got caught between Edwards' hand and CeeDee Lamb's helmet and he dislocated his elbow.
and it was one of the grisliest injuries all season.
And then the next week, Jamel Dean got hurt, and also Carlton Davis got hurt in week 3.
I think you're playing the Rams. Didn't you have Ross Cockrell and Parnell Motley out there? Yeah,
because Jamel Dean got hurt in the second quarter after Murphy Bunting already being out. And then next week, Carlton Davis was out. That's why Richard Sherman was corner 1, and the Patriots Tom's return to the Patriots. So that was
I think that adding a stabilizing force to the corner room for a team that's already really good wouldn't be.
And there's a couple of good corners right here in the late.
There are a couple.
Yeah.
I know which one I like more of these two that I'm looking at, but this is Matt's pick.
As do I.
Yeah.
Didn't something just happen to Andrew Booth recently? Yeah, he underwent surgery.
Oh, he did?
For
not sure.
Sports hernia?
Yeah, sports hernia. He had a sports hernia surgery. That was today. That was earlier today, as of the time of recording. He had a sports hernia surgery.
Well, even before that, I thought Elam was the better prospect.
I'm not super informed about how.
We previously mentioned Elam in this podcast. Hell of an athlete.
When we did our thing, he was one of the guys I said the Bucs should take. I said
Zion
Johnson.
I don't like this because I want him to go to the Bengals because I like Elam and I like the Bengals. But yeah, no, Elam's the best
I mean,
corner available right now.
He turns 21 in May, 6'2". I mean, that.
Good height, good speed, great ball skills.
Yeah.
The thing about Booth is he didn't. I think is a weird stat. He had one pick in all of his college career. Like he's not the ball hawk that you would want. You know what I mean? Elam is.
So we are going Elam to Tampa Bay
That's
here.
what I would do, but like,
Yeah,
I think
that's
Matt's pick.
Elam's under no pressure to produce measly and start. I think you
Not
just
at all.
Yeah, he doesn't
necessarily even have to
this is
start
a
now.
this is a luxury pick of luxury picks.
Opening day, he could be CB4. I mean,
Yeah,
you
this is such a luxury pick.
You take the
man.
corner with the higher athletic ceiling.
Agreed.
sure.
Yep.
So we go back.
It's just so annoying that he's going to Tampa. They don't even need him, but whatever.
So we go back around the horn to Green Bay for John here. I gave them Jameson Williams at pick number 22.
Yeah, and before the Devontae Adams trade, this pick is normally where I would mock the Packers receiver, but seeing as they acquired Jameson Williams from the Las Vegas pick, now they're free to do other things.
That's true. And they do have other needs now. They
lost to Darius Smith, but
They did.
I guess they're finally going to play Rashawn Gary after drafting him.
Yeah, it only took you 4 years.
Running back solid. They have AJ Dillon, hell of a running back.
Yeah, I mean,
shouldn't have extended Aaron Jones, but
they thought they were in a window, so I guess I see what they were going for.
Who other receivers besides James Williams? They just Randall Cobb, right? I mean, they lost MVS.
They lost MVS, so even adding
You should
Jameson
take
Williams,
another receiver.
even adding Jameson Williams to the fold, it would be Randall Cobb and then Amari Rogers.
Now, how is their O-line decent? Like, what's that steal?
Bakhtiari's back. Elton Jenkins is still a beast. And
they
beyond that,
they didn't even have Bakhtiari last year, and Aaron Rodgers won MVP, right?
Yeah.
So when you got Aaron Rodgers, it just elevates the O-line. So I don't think that's much of a pressing need. He's never been one to get hurt, really.
Hold on a minute. Aaron's had some major injuries in his career. He's had a couple collarbone breaks.
The collarbones, but he's never had any like freak accidents, lower leg stuff.
Yeah, as long as Anthony Barr doesn't land on top of him, he's been pretty healthy.
He's been able to avoid traffic mostly. So I'm gonna give them another receiver.
Good idea.
Ooh.
I think that's a good move.
This is what I would
agree.
do.
No, it's what I would do as well.
And I think I know who you should take, and I think you as well, because we've been raving over this guy for a couple months.
Oh, who are you guys thinking of? I know who you're thinking of.
I do like that receiver, but I'm just confused why. I'm confused why Mechie fell in this draft.
He's fallen out of the first.
I mean, he tore his ACL.
He's fallen out of
his ACL, but so did Jameson Williams, right?
I believe so.
Mechie's
83 on the board. I mean, he's
not sure why he's that low.
He's unjustifiable here at that low. A reach is one thing.
The Packers have him that low on their board. Like, we'd have no idea how our team's boards look.
That's for true. I mean, and obviously I'm not going to stop you, but I feel like a 60 spot reach at this point would be near unjustifiable.
You guys think that's a no-go?
No, I like Mechie.
If you think they take Mechie, I think it's a good pick, honestly, because I like Mechie.
I do think they're.
I was watching this game. I just thought Mechie's deep threat ability was insane.
Oh yeah,
Aaron Rodgers can drop it in there like a bucket.
But you already got James.
But would they take two injury receivers from the same school in the same round? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
I mean, these are the Packers. They took Rashawn Gary when they had Darius Smith and Preston Smith. They took AJ Dillon when they had Aaron Jones, and they took Jordan Love when they had Rodgers.
Yeah. Don't forget they took Josiah DeGuara when they had Tanyan. So
was that the fullback or like the tight end?
It was the fullback tight end that immediately tore his ACL, and this is rookie season. So are you going Mechie here with the pick 28?
No, he's just such a refined route runner, and in that scheme, I think the Packers go Mechie. Have the Alabama duo.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic pickup.
Insane.
That gives Aaron
ability.
Yeah, I mean that gives Aaron just such such free reign to do exactly what he wants.
Mechie kind of reminds me of MVS if it was better.
If he was better and a little short, he's a little smaller than MVS. But all right, so we go back around to Robbie, and and pick number 29
Shame
for
they
the
haven't rated there. I
Kansas
don't think he's that low
City.
on the
No,
draft
he's
boards at
definitely not
all.
that low. He's
It's
definitely a first round talent.
it's injury concerns. It's the same thing as everybody as was said. Um, so yeah, no,
Okay,
I
for the Chiefs here, I was looking, doing a little research, and I think that they could go receiver, but they lost Tyreek Hill obviously, which was huge, but they did sign Juju, they did sign MVS. They're trying to address it, and they do have back-to-back picks here, so we could do a little defensive player, whatever, in receiver combo. But I was thinking defensive side, edge
Yeah,
rusher.
they lost Honey Badger. They lost
They did
Charvarius
lose.
Ward, and
They
then
did lose. I was thinking edge, but then you
they have
start
a
looking at
they have
edge
a declining
rushers.
they have a declining
Uh,
Frank Clark,
yeah,
and
they do.
they didn't bring Melvin Ingram back. That's what they had to trade for him.
And I was looking at the edge
Not,
rushers.
it's
You
not
see,
looking great defensively for them.
it's really not. That's why I think that they maybe even could double up on defense here. Maybe like a Boy May for maybe even Nick Bonito. But I think, and I don't know anything about the sports hernia injury to Andrew Booth, but their corner room is just
It's
not
bad.
good. It's really bad. So if they, barring him being like really really bad hurt, and sports hernias you can't come back from, but it is one of those things that lingers. Andrew Booth, his ball skills aren't as good, but he is a true number one cover corner. So I think you kind of got to go Andrew Booth here, either with their 29th. They have back-to-back picks here, so either way,
Totally agree.
but
Yep.
one of these two, I think, needs to be a secondary person, or if they need to go safety, even Lewis Cine is right there, or Jalen Petrie. But I think
Yeah.
Booth has the most upside of any of those guys, barring injury.
Yeah.
Barring injury concerns. So I'm gonna go Booth here, and then it would be that's just what I would do, and so I don't know. I mean, it's really intriguing to think about giving a receiver because you lose so much with Tyreek Hill. But this receiver class is actually really deep in my opinion. I mean, look, they had Mechie really low, but if you look at PFF as far as their wide receiver rankings, you still have Scott Moore, you still have Jahan Dotson, you still have Jordan Pickens, you still have Christian Watson, who we have been raving about for probably about a month now. He's shooting up draft boards because of his raw athleticism. So have Justin Ross, who was the hero of Clemson's national
yeah,
championship
I
team
mean
3 years ago. So
it's an embarrassment of riches for the
it's
receiving core
and
options.
even Chris Sims came out yesterday and said that Alec Pierce was his number 2 overall receiver. I'm like, okay, but
Blew
PFF
everyone's
has him
minds.
at 75, and then even looking down here, Wandale Robinson at Kentucky's great. You even going even farther down the list. There's Tyquan Thornton, who he was the one that ran the 4.25 or whatever the I mean,
It
this
was the
receiver
false
class.
4-2-1 that beat the
Yeah, this
record.
receiver class. I mean, you're even scrolling way, way down here, and you're seeing guys that were real impact players. So I think the Chiefs could get a little better value later in the draft. So I really think they need to double up on defense here. But I think Andrew Booth is what I'm going with for pick 29. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think these days, if you're taking a receiver in the first round, he better be an
yeah,
absolute baller.
there's depth. There's really depth here. And if you wanted to give him like a Christian Watson right here at pick 30, I wouldn't begrudge you at all. But I don't know if that's in their best interest.
I
I
mean,
think they
yeah,
need a D
so
lineman.
They really do need
I like
some
the
D
Booth
line
pick
help so they can.
because they
Their
did
corner is bad.
lose.
They need to put Chris Jones back where he belongs.
Yeah, they lost Mike Hughes, they lost Travarius Ward.
Travarius Ward, yep.
Yeah, so I mean you've still got L'Jarius Sneed, but after that's questionable. So Andrew Booth should be a fantastic addition.
Barring injury concerns with this whole sports hernia thing,
Yeah.
I didn't actually know
course.
about yet. But
Yeah,
I had no
I
idea.
think that's a solid pickup there. As far as Kansas City, they do still have I believe Jaron Reed, right? They picked him up last year from Seattle.
Do they? I thought I don't
No,
think
he's
they
in Green Bay. He's
resigned.
in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they gotta go D line here.
yeah, I'd love to go Christian Watson, but I just don't think I can justify
There's
it.
real value at receiver, and if they even need to trade
Yeah.
up into the middle of the second round or something, I mean that's they're not afraid
So
to do that. So.
the pick that makes most sense to me here. At that point, they need to get better on that D line. I'm gonna give them Boye Mafe from Minnesota.
Boy Mafe, yeah, I think
Oh yeah, great speed rusher.
very
Frank Clark.
underrated, great speed rusher, a lot of raw talent, and just needs refined. But I think
Yeah, it's
that's
not.
really
It's
good
not
pick for
the
them.
flashiest sequence of picks here, but I think it's fantastic value
No, I
for
think
the
there's not a
Chiefs.
lot of better things that the Chiefs could have done here back to back.
Everybody wants the
in the late
Chiefs to
first
just
round.
reload on offense, but their defense is very shaky.
It needs help.
It's a balancing act. They need to address both.
Chiefs
100%.
were looking to be in the market for a veteran receiver, but their roster is just taking a significant hit. So a lot of good blue chip players, but overall, the quality
Yeah,
of their
I've seen a lot of people saying they may
defense has
trade both those
declined.
picks to go up and get a receiver, but that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me
The
personally.
only version that I
They
would
got
like is if they
Holsville.
traded them both for DK. That's really the only version that I could
I
justify.
guess, but like I still don't even think that's in their best interest, to be honest.
I got you. I mean, like there's the Chiefs are like interesting because like they're going to be good no matter what, but they need to lock in the
dude,
picks to
like,
be as good as they need to be.
and the rest of the division got significantly better while they
Oh
got
yeah,
worse. So
Worst question mark?
by
Yeah, definitely.
choice. I don't know what that was
Some of
about.
it by choice, which
Still,
is
but
whatever.
like I said, I think they'll be fine, but I think that the Chiefs strive to be
They
better than
just
fine.
they just need some solid role players not to get in the way of Mahomes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So we go back around to Matt. Second to last pick of the first round here. About to finish this bad boy up. You are picking for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm gonna guess Kenyon Green.
I don't know if they need him.
No. All right.
I mean, it would be nice. I feel like they've pretty if you're gonna take O-line, I think at this point, considering how much you've invested in it already this offseason, I think you address it later in the draft.
So you got Jonah Williams. You added Alex Kappa. I think the center
Oh.
is Trey Hopkins.
No, they're gonna have Ted Karras play center. I
Ted
believe.
Karras, yes. Ted Karras. Then they picked up Lael to be the right tackle. So it's going to be a significantly better unit next season.
Significantly better. Because
Yeah.
the floor was, 76.
The floor was
Happened
one of the
against
worst O-lines
Tennessee
in
in the
history.
playoff
Yeah.
game, which was just atrocious.
So-
Tennessee's not even that good of a
Well,
pass
that does open up the options a little bit more. So
Yeah, personally, if I'm the Bengals, I would have gone corner, but they're all gone now. So.
I don't know. There's a sleeper one here. I think.
Oh, you think so?
Jalen Peter from
I think-
Baylor.
No, Daxton Hill from Michigan. I think is one of the
Yeah.
more underrated players.
Does he
in this
more
entire
play?
class.
Does he more play like a safety though?
He's more of
He's
a
one of those
nickel
hybrid
type role.
types. Yeah.
He was a safety, but this guy legit had 4.2 flat speed coming out of high school. The number like 3 player in the country when
Did
he
run
came
at
out.
what was his?
I don't know what he ran at the combine, but
He was still cooking in Michigan. I saw him at, like top 10 mocks for a few
Oh
years.
yeah, he
there.
has all the talent in the world. He's just slid down. He didn't have the best junior season at Michigan, but I think he's one of the more
It sounds
underrated.
sounds like he played slot corner at Michigan.
He played a lot of slot. He's probably more of a true safety, but they haven't listed a corner on PFF. But that is
For a
besides the
team
point. I think he's just
that has not a bad corner room for Cincy, I could see that being justified.
Yeah, he ran
I
a
don't know if he's
4.38.
first round. I don't know if that's what they do there, but if you're looking at that position, I think he's very, very.
The way the
underrated.
cookie is crumbled here, I think you could certainly justify it.
I could. It's not the guy I wanted at 31, but that's kind of what you get when you are playing in the Super Bowl. So
For sure, yeah. I mean, it doesn't present itself as the easy. And the craziest thing about all of this that we're doing here is that who is available here is going to be a significantly better set of options because there will be quarterbacks taken in the top 30 picks.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to what we've done.
We haven't
which is
taken
the-
any, and there will be
there's
at least
gonna be,
probably 4 gone by this point. So
yeah, this is tough.
They
They also
still need a good edge rusher opposite Trey Hendrickson.
I
Yeah,
think
they
they do. They do.
they do.
I would agree with that.
Miracle that they've managed to somehow get that edge rush to work with just Trey Hendrickson and a couple of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Reader's run stopping has certainly helped that. He was the big man in the middle, and Logan Wilson was fantastic on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It seems a little early to do this, but maybe edge is the move here.
I don't think it
I
is.
don't think it's early at all. These guys
I
are
think
deep.
PFF's 37 rank on Nick Bonito is criminal. I think he's one of the best
I mean,
pure pass rushers that there is.
I don't think it's wrong, but I just think that there's probably the fact that it's the class he's been placed in.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at his
It's
PFF
just
grades, he
such
was
a-
easily the best pass rusher in all of the Big 12. It's not even close. Like he was eating Big 12 tackles for lunch.
Yeah, he's a really good player. It's just this edge class is just so insane. That
It
that's
is
just
really
where he
stacked.
is.
It really stacked edge class.
I think if it was a normal edge class, he probably would be easily a first rounder.
Agreed.
I mean, PFF's got DeMarvin Leal at 59. I mean,
Which
it's
is
just,
insane because he
That's
had a down
insane.
year, but he is still a remarkable prospect. He was top 5 in most mock drafts preseason. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
crazy.
mean-
He fell that bad.
You know, we still got Ebikite.
Yeah,
Ebiketie, Inagbear, Drake
McKinney.
Jackson, Cameron Thomas.
Kingsley and Agbear, exactly. Yeah, some of these
Major
guys are just.
Sanders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
I mean,
lot,
it's-
a lot of edge rush.
Yes. Yeah, you know, it just because of the fact that he's probably going to go in the second round, just bothers me taking him here. But you know, whatever. I'm going to go Nick Benito here.
Yeah, no, that's
I don't blame you at all.
this is
No,
not a
great
this is
pick.
not a this is not a pick that you should be feeling
No,
bad about.
I think the Bengals will be happy to have him,
Yeah, no, I mean,
especially with, late first round, fifth year option. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
it
that
helps
pick.
since he's edge rush. That it's a
Their
fantastic
defense
pickup.
was surprisingly good last year, and I think
No
that'll be
reason
hard
to-
to replicate, and this will help bring
Yeah.
some consistency back to that level.
Need to bolster it
Yep.
all they can.
That leaves John gets to finish us off here with the Lions' second first round pick. At number 2,
Yeah,
Are you gonna get a first round quarterback in there? Is that
way
what you're gonna do?
back at number 2, I gave them Aiden Hutchinson. So who's
John,
going to be?
you gonna make that first round quarterback a thing, or we gonna be the whole first round with that one?
You know,
Who will be the Mr. Irrelevant of our mock draft?
if you like a quarterback here, I like him here better than any of the following up picks because
Oh,
you
yeah.
get your option.
Agreed.
I mean, the Lions still have a
A lot of needs.
Oh yeah, no, they're
second pick, right?
the Lions have a pick 2 picks from now. They're picking 34th.
Okay, yeah. They're still a rebuilding roster. If you take a quarterback in the first round, you take a quarterback in the first round. It doesn't matter.
It's just for the
where
fifth
in
year
the
option is
first
the only
round
reason
it
you would
is.
do it right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the only reason you would take
with
one.
your pick coming up at 2 picks, that's the only reason you would do it.
I'm not in love with any of these guys though at quarterback,
Yeah.
and I'd
Yeah,
rather
like,
Willis is the only one
If you
that's shown me.
haven't
you know,
noticed, we don't think any of these quarterbacks are first round.
Or elite.
talents.
No.
I mean, I look at every single team here, and go to the quarterback needy teams. Look at the Panthers. If in 5 years look back, would they rather have Charles Cross? That's a guarantee. Seattle, Ahmad Gardner. Come on, so the Saints, Drake London, the Steelers, Penning. It's just it's the right picks. It really is.
And honestly, we may end up being horrendously wrong about some of these
We
guys.
can only go with the information we have.
Odds
Yeah.
are one or
Of
two
the-
of them are going to be good quarterbacks in the
Of
NFL.
the 31 picks we've made, at least 10 of these guys probably aren't going to be anything special,
Like,
and
let's,
at least one of these quarterbacks is going to be pretty solid.
like we don't like to talk. I don't like talking about how unbelievably wrong I was about Justin Herbert.
Yeah, no, I mean, so
It was just you.
It was just me.
Yeah, I loved him. I think we all did.
I watched him. I watched him at Oregon. I'm like, it was just one of those situations where it was just, this is literally not the same player that he was at Oregon. But anyway,
It's all scheme. That all has to do with scheme.
it's all
Yeah,
scheme.
scheme, and
It's all scheme,
more importantly,
scheme
we
coaching
hear
and
this
weapons. Like,
the Group Pretenders is a Pep Hamilton podcast.
yes.
Because
We are a
he's
pro
a
go
wizard.
Pip Hamilton show.
Yeah, pro go Pep Hamilton show. With that being
Yeah,
said, the
but-
Detroit Lions.
There's so many good prospects here.
Oh yeah.
Unless
It's a deep draft class.
unless you go to page 7 or something, you could give me any pick here, and I would consider it.
The way this draft is looking right now, I could see quarterbacks falling to third round, and they could grab one there if they really wanted to.
In our version of the mock, that would be the
Second
case.
pick.
No, I think Detroit just has the 1 second, but they've got a bunch of thirds because of compensation picks.
I don't know why, but linebacker Troy Anderson on Montana State just seems like a Dan Campbell pick.
Oh, yeah.
MCDC loves those
Running back
athletic linebackers.
And quarterback whose lone season at linebacker racked up an absurd 67 stops.
Yeah, I like this pick actually. I think he's
MCDC salivating.
he's an interesting prospect in the draft.
He's a project player for sure, but
I think one of the weakest
He's a
positions
prospect, but
in the draft.
he's got that frame. 6'4", 235. I mean,
and he flew at the combine.
Yes, he did.
yeah. I mean,
Looking at the
4.42 with that frame is unreal.
looking at the board right now, the linebackers seem to be one of the weaker positions.
Yeah, we've eaten it up
It's
a little bit.
blur. How's Christian Harris out of Alabama?
He's solid. I like him.
I'm not sure why PFF
But
doesn't like
in,
him
in
at
terms
all.
of linebacking, you
I
look at
don't
Troy
blame them.
Anderson.
Look at all like Bama. Look at Reuben Foster.
Like
Some
the
other dudes don't turn out from Bama.
CJ Mosley was very solid for many years, all pro though.
Lelio Chanel.
As far as Anderson, I like the idea of the pick here. You look at another guy with limited football experience right away, early at linebacker that was a quarterback at first transition, Leighton Vander Esch, the Cowboys, coming out, 6'4", 255, similar frame. He ran a 4.65. Anderson ran a 4.42. He had a receiver 40, basically with Leighton Vander Esch's frame. I really like the idea of that pick here personally.
I mean, Detroit could use a receiver, but Amon-Ra proved himself at the end of the year, and I don't think I mean,
Let's not forget
the
they added DJ
quarterbacks-
Chark as well.
the quarterbacks Jared Goff. They're not aiming to be an offensive powerhouse currently. I don't think they could use a receiver, but I don't think
No, this is not the year.
necessarily make or break the team. Yeah, I'm gonna keep building their defense. I'm gonna go Troy Anderson.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think that's a fantastic pickup. If if this is the Lions' first round, assuming they stay put, of course, because you have to, just for the sake of this. I think Detroit can leave with their head held high. So that was the first round mock here for the Great Pretenders first round mock draft. I feel good. I really feel good about pretty much every single pick we made here today, guys. I think this was a best case scenario for pretty much every team. I don't think any team should leave thinking, "Oh man, I didn't get the
What was
guy I
your favorite
wanted."
pick?
I mean, I think Jordan Davis to the Chargers. I mean, that's not even a question.
Kayvon Thibodeau, because it's not what's going to happen, but it's what's right.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
Now, what's your most hated pick out of all our picks?
Ooh.
Which
Oh
pick do
man,
we?
I don't act. I'm gonna go back through one more time here because I don't really actively dislike any of them.